welcome to the Massman tutorial channel. So today we are going to impart differentiation of function with one variables. So when we talk about differentiation, we say that differentiation is change of rate of time with respect of s, change of rate of y of time with respect of s, which you can call it, some you can call it dy dx. Then the same way now, if you want to solve differentiation, we have forms of differentiations. Number one, we have differentiation using general formula. Then we have the one using first principle. We have the one called product rule. We have quotient rule. We have chain rules. Then you can call it function of a function. Then let's start from the formula now. The first one, differentiation of general formula. We say using general formula. The use of general formula in this case is that you say that given at this point y is equals to n raised power this from this point. That is the first point now. Then when we once introduce the y ds in this case, it's now be delta y all over delta s, which is equivalent with n into n minus 1. So by which where n here represents your power, or you can call it index or power. So where here is represent your what? Power. So at this point now, this is what you call differentiation of general formula. Then at this point, you can use it to solve some problems based on this differentiation. And remember that differentiation is under what you call calculus in further maths. And the calculus in further maths covered all the mathematics. It also touches the what you call business maths 2, BAM 122 in business mathematics. Then if you go to School of Engineering, you touch what it calls MTH 211, that is School of Engineering. So to tell you that now, it's good for your health to know everything about this. And remember that once, if you want to know this one more, remember to subscribe using. Then next one, let's go from starting from example. Then example 1 say that evaluate the following. 1, evaluate the following. Then find the y ds. Find the y ds using general formula. Using general formula. So at this point, you have to find the y ds using general formula. The first one is say 1, when you have y equals to 3x squared plus 4s plus 10. Then I is the same thing when you have something like a function of s is the same thing with 5 raised to power 3 plus 4s plus 20. So at this point now, we can use general formula to solve this one. And you know the rules of general formula from this point. The rules of general formula is once you have to find the y ds of this, what you have to do, once you introduce the y ds, meanwhile you have already what? Differentiated. And we are now knowing that, take note that differentiation of any given constant number is equal to 10. The differentiation of any given constant number here, like constant number here is what? 10. Meanwhile, differentiation of any given constant number is equal to 0. That is what I mean by constant number. And then so constant number means that any number does not contain with any variable. That is mathematical example of what? A constant what? Numbers. Like here now, if I say what is the y ds of 10 here, 10 is a constant number. The answer is what? 0. Then number 1, we have 1, the y, we are now introduce the y ds. The y ds now simple means equal to. When you differentiate this point now, simple means here I will now introduce my formula as n into this, which is the same thing with dy ds. If you don't want to call it delta y delta s, you can call it dy ds. So when you introduce now, my n here is power, and the power here is 2. So what I'm going to do now is that my n here is power, and the power here is what? 2. Then any place I see n, in this case now, I'll put what? 2. Then coming to the second step, any place I see n, I'll put what? I'll put what? 1. So therefore we have it as what? Here is what? 2 dot means multiplication, s raised to power 2 minus 1. Then plus 4s, I'll do the same thing, 1.4 s raised to power what? 1 minus 1 plus what? 0, because this is a constant. So therefore, the y, the s at this point will give me 3 times 2 times 3 is what? 6. So you have it as what? 6s. Then 2 minus 1 is 1. Then you leave it that way. 1 times 4 is 4. We have 4 into s. 1 minus 1 is 0. Any number raised to power 0 is 1. So here you have it as the y, the s at this point is equals to 6s plus 4 into all 1. Because any number raised to power 0 is what? 1. Then 6s is equals to 4. So this answer for the first one, for this number what? Number 1 under what? Using general formula. So likewise this point now, that is number 2. Number 2 say that we should find the y, the s of this. That is number 2. So we follow the same thing, the same procedure. Then number 2 we have the y, the s equal to, that is another same place where you can do it now. You can say that 3 times 5 is what? 15. We have it as 15s. 3 minus 1 is 2. Then plus 1 times 4 is what? 4. Then 4 minus 1 is what? 0. That is 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 raised by 0 is 1. 4 times 1 is what? 4 times 4. Here 4 times 1 is what? 4. Then here is what? The y, the s of constant is what? 0. Then the y, the s, you have it as what? 15 s raised to power 2 plus what? 4. So this is answer for this one using what? General formula. The next one we are going to discuss about is what we call the differentiation of using what? First principle. Differentiation of using first principle. Then when I talk about first principle now, the easiest way you can solve your first principle is that's what it calls binomial expansion. Then when you get the binomial expansion, which you can use a particle triangle or combination. So in this case now, when you have something like this now, using first principle under of differentiation, and remember to subscribe using the Mass Man tutorial. Then you see us there to know more about this. Then next one, say find the y, the s. Find the y, the s of y equals to 2s raised to power 3 plus 100. Then at this point, say using first principle. Using first principle to solve. Then when you are using first principle to solve now, so we say solution at this point using first principle. So what is the first principle is all about? First principle, simple method, that is another way of tackle what? Differentiation. So it's trying to tell you that if you use formula for general formula, that is the one we know as the y, the s equals to any x raised to power n minus 1. Then the same way, if you use first principle at this point, you will still arrive at the same answer. So this question says that we should use first principle. So first thing you have to do is say solution will have something like this. Then the first one, we introduce the formula, the question, which is the function raised by this plus what? 100. Then the first one say that from here, you say from left hand side, that is the one that contains y, you add the y, Here you put the y. Then from right hand side, any place see s, you put the s. So that is the rules. You have it 2 brackets s plus the s, all raised to power 3. So y raised to power 3 now is because of this. Then plus what? 100. Then after this one now, you have to do what? Expand. They say that y into y plus this. So when I do my expansion, I say 2 all into s, the s. I want to remove this 3. So I will expand the 3 bracket now. S plus the s into bracket s plus the s. So the bracket now is, we have already expanded the bracket plus what? 100. So after this point now, then after this point, I have it as what? Y plus the y, the s. We have something like this. So here now, for we to get the answer for this point now, so we can simply say that y plus the y into 2 brackets. Here, the first one is increasing, which is what? 3. Next one that follow it is what? Raised power what? 0. Plus, next one that follow it, you have after s, you have what? 2. Raised power what? Raised power 1. After 0, you get 1. The next one that follow it now, we have it as what? Plus s raised power 1. Next one is what? S raised power what? 2. The next one that follow it now, we have it as what? Plus s raised power 0. S raised power 0 into s into raised power what? 3. Then plus what? 100. So we have something like this. At this point now is not the final answer. At this point is not the final answer. So what you have to do now is that, so we are trying to bring this one together. You have to bracket it because you are multiplying by using what? 2. You are multiplying by using 2. Then you have it as y plus the y, the s, into this bracket. Then this is s raised power 3 because d raised power 0 is what? 1. Then plus here you have it as what? S raised power 2 or the s. Here you have it as what? S raised power s. The s was square. Then here you have it as s raised power 0 is what? 1. Then we have it as the s raised power what? 3. Remember, all it was is what? 100 plus what? 100. Then that is the first expression. Then after this point now, then we continue so that we can get our final answer. The continuation of this, have we done from this point? Can we proceed? Can we continue? So at this point now, we continue from here. This point, I will bring this one up. So that is how to do it. Remember, we are using first principle, and also you are with us, the mass tutorial. So you can see us in your what? YouTube. Then after this point now, we still have it y plus the y into 2 brackets.
Cut.